While traveling down the historic National Scenic Byway, you'll learn about the history of America, but also the history of roadway. In fact, it's the first national highway. The historic National Scenic Byway is as much a history of a roadway as it is the history of America. The byway extends 225 miles from the West Virginia state line at the Ohio River all the way to the Indiana state line. Lined with pike towns that grew up around stopping points for foot and horsepower traffic in the early 19th century, the historic National Scenic Byway is the perfect road trip for fans of fall color and history buffs alike. Our first stop on the byway is Ohio's oldest standing bridge, the Blaine Hill S Bridge. I talked to the National Road Association representative, John S. Marshall, to learn more about this transformational site.
We're at the historic Blaine Hill S Bridge on the historic National Road in Belmont County, Ohio. This bridge was built in 1826, and it is an arched stone bridge, 345 feet long. And it was the original bridge along the National Road in Belmont County. In the old days, the travelers on the National Road would come up and down this bridge, but with the advent of the automobile, it became more and more heavily used. So in the 1940s, it was replaced by the Blaine Viaduct, which is now currently US Route 40. And subsequent to that, the Interstate 70 was built just south of that. So we have 3 generations of transportation in Belmont County, which can be visible from this site. If we don't understand history, it's hard to understand where we're going. There's so many wonderful sites along the National Road and other byways that it's great for people to see these things so they understand our history.
You can truly see the evolution of transportation right here in Belmont County. Just 5 short miles west, you'll find the charming historic downtown of St Claresville. Located in the rolling Appalachian foothills of the Ohio River Valley, St. Claresville is full of beautiful 19th century architecture, with no better example than the Belmont County Courthouse dominating the center of town. I talked to local landscape architect and history enthusiast Gabe Hayes to learn more about this beautiful area.
We are in downtown historic St. Claresville, which is a historic district on the historic National Road. The town was established in the same year the state was established, in 1803, and the National Road arrived here in 1825, and the groundbreaking for the National Road to move forward in Ohio started right here. I would recommend folks get out and walk the 2 blocks of the downtown from east to west or vice versa. In the fall, it's the beautiful fall colors. We're a Tree City, USA. Lots of shade trees, parks, and the whole National Road going west has beautiful scenic views into the valleys as it follows the ridgetop.
Downtown St. Claresville has so much to offer visitors, from delicious local pizza shops to the fascinating Belmont County Museum and historic Clarendon Hotel, formerly the National Inn. However, the history here is what makes downtown St. Claresville a must-stop spot along the byway.
The history of the National Road is that it was truly the first national road. This was the first major infrastructure project that our young country undertook. This would probably have been one of the most busy thoroughfares in the world.
Downtown St. Claresville was not just a bustling downtown of commerce, but it was also populated with groundbreaking thinkers and revolutionaries, with no better example than slavery abolitionist Benjamin Lundy. Lucky for history buffs, Lundy's home has been preserved on the east side of downtown St. Claresville. I talked to co-owner of the Benjamin Lundy House, Trina Hayes, who read me a passage from Lundy's writings.
I had lamented the sad condition of the slave ever since I became acquainted with his wrongs and suffering. But the question, what can I do, was the continual response to the impulses of my heart. Shortly after my settlement at St. Claresville, I called a few friends together and unbosomed my feelings to them. The result was the organization of an anti-slavery association called the Union Humane Society. He took it upon himself to do that because his assignment was to the betterment of the human condition, and he died pursuing that.
Not only an important historic site, the Lundy House also houses a studio for local creatives with office space and a podcast studio.
We are all connected, and that is one thing that I want to bring to this space. I don't want it to just be about, oh, this guy did these things, and I want people to come in together and create together.
Just a few miles west of downtown St. Claresville, you'll find yet another stop where students have been learning about history for nearly 150 years. The Great Western Schoolhouse is a charming brick one-room schoolhouse constructed in 1870. It's also listed in the National Register of Historic Places. The building is currently used as a working museum highlighting early education in southeastern Ohio. I talked to Ann Ratine, the school marm of the Great Western Schoolhouse, who told me more about this educational stop.
The school was built in 1870, west of St. Claresville, Ohio. The school actually stands on its original foundation. It has never been moved. The bricks for the building are handmade, and they were made right here on the property. The school was used from 1870 until 1952, so 82 years it was used. If you look at the outside, it looks very much like it would have in 1870. I think the most fun thing for me is to watch the students' faces as they enter the building, because they have no idea what they're seeing until they enter the building.
Some of the hallmarks of 19th century schooling has been preserved at the Great Western Schoolhouse. There's even some that the troublemakers might even remember.
The dunce hat initially was for people who did not know their lessons. They hadn't studied them well enough. And it was a means that meant that perhaps you needed to go home and study your lessons a little harder.
Driving down the historic National Road Scenic Byway, you'll pass through Valley View, formerly home to Jamboree in the Hills. But before folks traveled here for country music, the National Road was filled with covered wagons, carriages, and drovers full of families pursuing opportunities created by the building of the first federally funded road. And as a result, towns grew from the migration of people and resources. One of the best preserved examples of these national pike towns is the village of Morristown, a village older than Ohio itself. I talked with president of the Morristown Historic Preservation Association, John Radizak, who told me about the many historic sites in town.
We are in Morristown, and specifically we're in front of the historic Black Horse Inn. And really, this is one of the most historic buildings in the entire state of Ohio, as it is one of very few remaining stagecoach stops along the old National Road. It is officially the third stagecoach stop west of the Ohio River, one of very few still remaining in the state of Ohio. Specifically, it was built in 1807 by Duncan Morrison, who was the founder of Morristown. Because it's interesting to think that all the trade and commerce that crossed the United States of America back in the mid-1800s crossed right in front of this venue.
Beyond the Black Horse Inn, Morristown offers glimpses of 19th century architecture, beautiful historic churches, and one of the oldest sites of early information sharing in the country.
Beyond the architecture of Morristown, there's several buildings in town that really are worth the stop. One is the Sweeney Building, which is right across the street from the Black Horse Inn. It is owned by Belmont Technical College, and they use it as a field lab for their students in their historic preservation program. In addition to that, the back street, which is Church Street, has 4 original 180-year-old churches still standing. 2 are still in operation, the other 2 are used for other purposes.
I heard that you have one of the oldest post offices in the country. Is that true?
That is correct. We have the oldest post office in the country right here in Morristown. So many reasons to stop in Morristown. The Black Horse Inn, the Sweeney House, to see all the architecture, to see the 4 churches, and to see the oldest post office in the nation.
With so many unique historical sites, from the Blaine Hill S Bridge to the village of Morristown, the National Scenic Byway makes for an unforgettable fall road trip experience. The best part? There is so much more to see along this byway. I'm standing on the original brick from the historic National Road, and it may look like this road ends at this barn, but the road does not end here. There's 9 other counties where you can explore the historic National Road. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to plan a trip to see all of this for yourself.